Well, dear friends around the world, this is my first Friday message for December 2017. It's been the first day of our conference here in New York, Global Prayer Call Conference, connected to the 17th anniversary of the historic UN vote of November 29, 1947, which initiated the foundation of the modern state of Israel. So we're here gathered on November 28, and tomorrow is November 29. For that reason, that's about 40, 50 different believers, intercessors from maybe 13, 14 different nations around the world. And the first day today has been a beautiful, a precious, a valuable day. In the morning, we started off by regarding three things. Number one, the season we are in, which is a culmination of the 50-year season, which is connected to October 31, 500 years of Reformation, 100 years of Balfour Declaration, 100 years of the victory of Beersheba. It's also, in a broader sense, connected to 50 years of reunification of Jerusalem and 50 years of the release, the trigger year, 1967, for the global Messianic movement. So that's the Jubilee line, if you want to take it that way, that culminated in October 31, 2017, which was pretty much at the beginning of the year 5778, the Jewish calendar year. And then there is the 70-year line, and for me as a German, the 70-year line is very important. It's from the book of Daniel, chapter 9. He has been our role model at the end of exile, repenting for the sins of his people, his leaders, his prophets, his kings, his priests, and opening a door in heaven by repenting for the exile to come to a close and for the release into the promised land back home. So the 70-year season has been very important for us from Germany, with 70 years after Hitler came to power. That was January 2003, the 70th anniversary of that evil, bad day. We came together as intercessors with the Sisters of Mary in Germany, close to Frankfurt, and repented and wept and went before the Lord. And we continued 2005, 2008, 2012, 2015. And in 2015, at the end of the Holocaust, things became global. It was the beginning of the global prayer call, actually. So, but we are still in the 70-year cycle. And now here's the 70th anniversary of the UN vote. And then next year in May, it will be the 70th anniversary of the rebirth of the State of Israel. And that brings the 70-year cycle to a close as for the season. But also the 70-year cycle, and the culmination of that is within the year 5778. This Jewish year between Rosh Hashanah 2017 and Rosh Hashanah 2018. So within this Jewish calendar year, there are two climaxes: the 50-year circle coming to a climax and the 70-year circle coming to a climax. And for me, who has been working in the Lord in those cycles for the last 25 years, this is a very meaningful moment, a very meaningful Jewish calendar year, bringing those things to a climax and opening a new season, closing one season, opening a new season. And we connected that to our nations, we connected that to Jerusalem, we connected that to the Valley of Decision. And what does this season mean for us? And Rick Ridings contributed and said that he received in Auschwitz, Krakow, in January 2015, the 70th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz concentration camp, he received the word that until May 2018, there still is a paradigm, there still is a spiritual window open for nations to align with Israel. We should take it by faith and pray into it. And then, after this season comes to a close, this window slowly but steadily will close for the nations to align. It will be more difficult, it will be more challenging for nations to align with Israel. So these are things we consider today. In the afternoon, we had Rick Ridings speak about the ministry of Sukkot Hallel, about houses of prayers being raised up in different parts of the Middle East, and mostly in Arab Muslim countries. Houses of prayer are raised, dozens of them in different nations. So this was very encouraging also in light of the Isaiah 19 promise. The Assyrian Empire of old and the Egyptian Empire of old at the end of days coming together with Israel in the center, by way of redemption, and by way of coming to the fullness of their calling for the blessing of the nations. So, and then we regarded Africa in the afternoon and prayed for Africa, because we believe that Africa, the nations of Central and Southern Africa, are a key continent as far as alignment of nations with Israel is concerned, even to the point that we believe it could trigger things in the United Nations. If there are more and more African nations aligning with, as well as the process is going on, and they are doing more and more, inspired by revival, as that happens, they can regain the strength to even get out of alliances like the non-alignment, the neutral alignment movement. They can get out of alliances in the African Union, in the non-alignment movement, in the UN, which is the largest bloc of about 110 nations, and tip the balance of Muslim majority within that bloc, and that's the largest bloc, and by democratic rules, the strongest influence in United Nations, and they can tip the balance in a way that this mathematics will not work anymore in the future. So we prayed for Israel, we prayed for our nations, we prayed in a very intense way for the Arab world and for the African nations. So that's a brief report as of today. And in the evening, Robert Stearns came and he shared a very deep and substantial prophetic message about the times we are living in and what does that mean for the praying remnant around the world. How can they grow and mature and align with the purposes of God? And he named 3 major purposes. And that was so educational as well as uplifting to hear this message of Robert. So between Robert and the writings and myself and those 40, 50 people from around the nations, we are having a very deep time. It's like a time of cleansing. It's a time of purification. It's a time of being realigned ourselves more closely to the heart of God and to the Kairos moments of God. And so it's beautiful, it's wonderful to be here. We had a great day, and now we are getting ready for tomorrow to go, number 1, to the historic place where the UN vote actually took place, which is in Queens. It's a different place than the modern current UN buildings inside. That's where we go in the early afternoon, also to go inside the UN building, if God is gracious to us, and pray from within inside for matters of our nations and the United Nations and Israel. So this is my report for December 2015. Thank you for your not only attention, but staying connected with us in the Spirit, praying for Israel, praying for your nation, that your nation will be aligned to Israel, even in the season before May 2018, in a stronger and deeper way. So take courage, take faith. Let's move together forward in the purposes of God for our nations with regard to Israel. Have a blessed Hanukkah and Christmas season, and we'll see each other again early next year. God bless you.